Pokemon Lazarus is a beautiful ROM hack of Emerald that introduces the Ilios region based on Greece. I learned about it 5 minutes ago thanks to my shorts feed and decided to play it after seeing it. So with that, I'm excited to say welcome to day 1 of the Pokemon Lazarus playthrough. I hop off the moving truck in Akrissa City and I'm greeted by Professor Elia, who takes me to Akrissa University building where I meet the Pokeball nerd Nico and Rainia, who studies Pokemon location data. After meeting the two of them, it becomes quickly apparent that Professor Elia does not have a Pokedex prepared for me. Luckily, he wore a Rotom phone. It was arriving oddly late, so he asked me to go find a delivery guy and offered a Pokemon to take with me. I decided to go with Quaxley and named her Shuba. With my new member of the team, I head down south towards the Bronze Fields and eventually find a delivery driver who's being mugged by a member of Team Chimera, who I'm sure won't be relevant later. After saving the delivery driver, I head back to the university building, and with my new Rotom phone with the Pokedex app, I'm given the quest to go battle the first gym leader. I head back to the Bronze Fields and get the second member of our team, Fade the Cubone, and the third member, Ruby the Foam Mantis. We then reach Juice Mail Town. After some berry fanatics told me to go challenge the gym leader, I head to the gym and challenge the muse of hymns and agriculture, Polymnia. They open with a Q-Fly who paralyzes Shuba and gets some absorbs in before switching to Fairy Wind for some reason, letting Shuba live and taking out Q-Fly with a wing attack. Up next is their Timber. I switch to Fade, and Timber can only pound Fade, so I take the chance to heal Shuba before taking out Timber with a headbutt. Their ace is Skidoo. I switch back to Shuba, and with a handful of wing attacks, we get the Harvest Badge. On my way back, I'm started by Rainia, who's started doing some field work and wants to battle. She opens with a Buizel, I open with Shuba, and defeat Buizel with a wing attack. Next is Bellsprout. She puts Shuba to sleep, and I switch to Ruby, who falls to an acid. I send out Fade, who also gets put to sleep, but gets slapped awake and defeats Bellsprout with a headbutt. Her final Pokemon is Vulpix, who falls to a Bone Club, getting us the win. After the fight, I return to the university and get my next goal of facing the next gym leader. I first head west to the Akrissa Mountains, thinking the next gym was actually there. My path was blocked by a couple of trees, and I thought all my Pokemon actually needed to know Cut, and since none of my current guys could learn it, I caught a couple more guys. We caught Scarfy the Mawile, Simon the Alolan Sandshrew, a Cloth, a Lillipup. After seeing that none of them could learn Cut, I had a thought. What if I don't need one of my guys to know Cut? I then walked up to a tree and cut it down. After that side quest, I explored the Akrissa Mountains and evolved Shuba, solved 2 quick puzzles, and gained an Espithra to ride around the Ilios region, kinda acting like my bike. After realizing the gym is not in the Akrissa Mountains, I headed east to Riverwalk Trail and reached Calamie City. Inside the city, I get some new clothes and then catch the 6th member of our team, the Murkrow, otherwise known as the Dawn. We then go challenge the Muse of Stone and Sky, Orani. They open with a Cloth and I open with Fade. Fade defeats Cloth with a Bone Club and Orani sends out Mawile. Shuba works up and defeats Mawile with a low sweep. Their final Pokemon is Larvitar, who falls to 1 low sweep, getting us the Gemstone Badge. I then head back to the university to report my victory to Professor Elia, ending day 1. Day 2 begins with me heading to the 3rd gym. Along the way, I run into Nico and Rainia, and we confront some Team Chimera members. After defeating them, I'm prompted to choose between Rainia and Nico. I choose Rainia, and she gives me a rare egg, and her and Nico head back to the university. I continue my way forward and run into a Goomy. I catch and name him Putty and welcome him to the team. I then reach Pytheos Town and meet the gym leader Cleo, the muse of past, present, and future. She's giving out fortunes to the population. She has foreseen a great battle between us and heads back to the gym to await my challenge. She opens up with a Mimikyu, and at first I was a little surprised she opened up with what I assumed was her ace, but it was quickly revealed to be a Zorua. The Zorua gets taken out by the Dawn. Up next is her Bruxish. I send out Ruby and defeat Bruxis with a Razor Leaf. Up next is her Noctowl. I switch to Scarfy, and after his dreams got eaten, he takes out Noctowl with a bite. Her final mon is Mimikyu, and he gets defeated by Scarfy's Metal Claw, getting us the Grave Badge. After my victory, I meet Piraeus the Strong, Wise, and quite possibly the Great. He needs me to take care of some Team Chimera thugs that are trying to take his boat. I go deal with them, and now I can take his boat to different locations, and I have a room I can customize, which is just really neat. It's not of any real use to me just yet, but I'm confident he'll come into clutch later. After exploring around on his boat, I head east to the Frostless Caverns and have the greatest encounter yet. Yes! It's my boys! My special boys! My beautiful, beautiful boys! If you somehow don't know, considering I use them in almost every intro to my videos, Phalanx is my favorite Pokemon, so we obviously catch him and add him to the team. I named him Aries, but that's subject to change later down the road. I just couldn't think of a name at the time. With Aries added to the team, we enter the Frostless Caverns, and I don't have a Pokemon that can use Flash, so we kind of just vibe it out and eventually make it onto the other side. Don't ask how long it took. Yeah. Yeah. On the other side, I run into my guy Nico, inspecting 2 statues, and he tells me Duskull wants to battle, so he challenges me to one. Nico opens up with his Mudbray, and I open up with Ares. I switch out Ares with Ruby and defeat Mudbray with a Leaf Blade. Nico then sends out his Sandshrew. I send out Scarfy and defeat him with a Fire Fang, and his Duskull comes out. I keep Scarfy in, and after a back and forth, we defeat Duskull, getting us the win. After the battle, Nico tells me the history of this land. There were once 2 brothers, a mighty king obsessed with worldly possessions and a humble poet who chose to help those around him. And you can see nowadays who's actually more appreciated by looking at their statues. After that little history lesson, Nico tells me that Team Chimera has set up shop in Sopho City and seems to be after the Keystone. I head to Sopho City after a little sightseeing and visiting the Acropolis temple dedicated to the 3 beasts. I enter Sator's lair and help the gym leader of the city kick out Team Chimera, retrieving the Keystone. She invites me back to her gym, excited to see the harmony between me and my Pokemon. I first report back to Nico, who insists I keep the Keystone and says to visit him for more Mega Stones. I explore the city some more, run to the developer of this wonderful game, Nemo. They give me a quest to find the Oricorio, so I have to keep an eye out for him. I then head back to the gym and battle the Muse of Dance, Terpsichore. She opens up with a Meditite, I open up with Ares, but I switch him out for the Dawn and take out Meditite with a crit wing attack. Next is Palmo. I switch to Scarfy and defeat him with a Fire Fang. She then sends out Gothorita. I send out Ruby, and Ruby does some good damage with Bug Bite, but definitely can't take another Side Shock, so the Dawn returns and defeats Gothorita. Her final Pokemon is Mienfoo. I send out Ares, and we go back and forth meditating and bulking up, but Ares is just a better fighting type and defeats Mienfoo, getting us the Wisdom Badge. Day 3 begins with Pyra's taking me to Kipos Town where I meet Mr. Russell. He tells me Team Chimera stole almost all the Pokemon from their community zoo and asks if I could catch some more to donate them. After accepting this request, I start making my way through the Sea of Asteri, evolving Ruby into Lurantis, and reaching Marmaro Town where it seems Team Chimera is to something, but there's not much I can do right now. I do a couple side quests and continue east towards Mirini Island and the next gym. I explore the island and run to one of the 4 Oricorios I need for Nemo's quest and enter Mirini Island Gym. I battle through some of the trainers and evolve Putty into Sliggoo before challenging the Muse of Parties and Poisons, Eutrope. She opens with the Gyarados and I open with Scarfy and defeat Gyarados with a Thunder Fang. Up next was Hypno. I send out the Dawn after poisoning me. I totally and not by complete accident get the read and take out Sneasel with a dual wing beat. Hypno comes back and falls to Scarfy's Crunch, and her ace Tentacruel falls to Scarfy's Thunder Fang, getting us the win and getting the Festival Badge. After the gym battle, I head back outside and see Renia being harassed by some Team Chimera members, and we meet the leader of Team Chimera, Calliope. She begins to explain her plans, which are basically fossil Pokemon just kind of exist in the Ilios region without needing to restore them, and that is a huge money-making opportunity along with the natural resources of this land. It is then revealed that Calliope was once the 8th gym leader from the town where Team Chimera seemingly took over, and she was assumed captured up until now. I also want to need head to Marmaro Town to stop him from digging up some kind of ancient device, but before that, I head back to the university and buy the Failing Site from Nico, and then head to the Acrissa Mountains to do a quick side quest involving a ball toy to get a Dusk Stone for the Dawn. During this side quest, I ran to my second Oricorio, and then I headed to Pen Pedal Town to meet up with Renia, who challenges me to a battle to make sure I'm ready to take on some Team Chimera members disturbing the area. She opens with the Floatzel, I open with the Dawn. I switch to Shuba and eventually defeat Floatzel with an Air Slash. Up next is her Hawlucha. I send out Putty, and he's able to get the win with Dragon Breath. Her next Pokemon is Finizen. I send out Ruby and take him out with a Leaf Blade, and her final Pokemon, Weepinbell, is defeated by the Dawn, getting us the win and proving ourselves. We then go to kick out Team Chimera and save potentially the last Shieldon and Cranidos in the wild after everything Team Chimera has done. We call Nico to get them to safety, and then I head to Marmaro Island to confront Team Chimera once again. I'm unfortunately too late as they have gone away with the ancient device, but I am able to kick them out of the mine and do a little mining myself. After my little excursion, I'll admit, guys, I got so lost, like I could not figure out where to go to use Dive to get to the Fresco Islands, which is crazy because there's like 2 places I found where you could actually use Dive. And like I kept choosing the wrong one, which was just me going the same one over and over again where I couldn't explore further than the grass. While trying to find my way, Shuba did evolve, and I eventually did find the Isles, only to learn the gym leaders, the Muse of Comedy and Tragedy, weren't even there. They were having disagreement and ran off to the theater. I reach the theater and they're too caught up in their own arguments to notice me there, but a nearby watcher tells me to go get some chocolate for them to calm down. I head to the Pokemart and battle this lady for some chocolate, and I didn't think the fight was going to be all that much, and then she showed off her Mega Noctowl, which was really cool. I obviously knew there were Megas in the game, but I didn't realize there were ones specifically made for Lazarus, and I really liked Noctowl's design. After delivering the chocolate, they reconcile and head back to the gym ready for my challenge. This fight is a double battle, and Talia and Melpomene open with Camerupt and Lantern. Camerupt goes down very quickly from Shuba, and Raichu gets sent in. Shuba and Scarfy double team Raichu, defeating it, but Lantern discharges, defeating Shuba. I send out Ruby and swap Scarfy in with Ares. Ruby takes takes out Lantern with a Leaf Blade and Steelix Mega Evolves. I Mega Evolve Ares, and with a mixture of Leaf Blade and Rock Smash, we defeat the twins, getting us this theatrical badge. Day 4 begins with me in Palai City battling Rania, who just got her 7th gym badge. She opens with a Ninetales and quickly falls to an Aqua Step from Shuba. Up next is our Flareon, who had Trop Kick, which was slightly scary, but overall not a problem, as she also falls to Shuba. Next is our Mawile. I send out Scarfy for the Mawile fight! Scarfy has Fire Fang, proving he is the superior Mawile, defeating her Mawile. Her final Pokemon is Victory Bell. I switch to the Dawn, and even with the Mega Evolution, the Dawn is able to defeat Victory Bell, getting us the win. After that fight, I enter the 7th gym and find the embers of 3 torches to challenge the Muse of Passion and Freedom, Radine. She opens with an Oricorio. I open with Putty, who got confused by Tear Dance but was able to break through and take out Oricorio with a Muddy Water. Her Braviary falls to Scarfy's Thunder Fang, and her Salazzle goes down to Shuba, and the same can be said for her Tauros. I switch to the Dawn, expecting a Cantonian Arcanine for some reason, but even against a Hisuian one, Dawn's able to crit a Night Slash, leaving Radine with just 1 Pokemon. Her final Pokemon Toucan Mega Evolves, getting a similar ability to Mega Kangaskhan. She takes out a lot of members of my team until Putty barely lives a Drill Peck, taking out Toucan, getting the Passion Badge. After the gym battle, we hear a loud thunderclap outside and quickly head out to see a sudden extreme change in weather. Rania runs up to tell us that the Acropolis Temple has been taken over by Team Chimera and that they have taken Nico hostage. We reach the temple and see Calliope with the 3 legendary beasts, and as she activates the ancient device, she turns them into the ancient Paradox forms. This made me want some kind of parallel game to Lazarus, where the 3 Swords of Justice get roboticized into their future Paradox forms. Anyway, after the show of power, Calliope and her 2 admins each head off to battle the 3 Titans of Weather, Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza. One of the 3 targets, Groudon, was lucky right here in Sophos Town in Sager's lair. I had tried to confront the admin of Fire, defeating him and gouging fire before Groudon appears. He thanks me for my assistance in defending him and heals my team before testing my strength. I can't say the first attempt went well. I can't say the second attempt went well either. So I went off and grinded for a little bit before coming back and getting some crazy flinch and crit luck as we prove our strength to Groudon. Up next is Kyogre in the center of Kaptara Island. I defeat the admin of Ice in their walking wake, and paused my recording to go get some food, and forgot to unpause when I fought Kyogre. But we did prove our strength to him. With both admins defeated, all we had now was to challenge Calliope at the Tower of Deoxybus. With her and Raging Bolts defeated, we proved ourselves to Rayquaza, saving the region from Team Chimera. Calliope and her admins flee to their hideout, and I head after them to finish this once and for all. We reach the Arios hideout and battle the Muse of Legends, Calliope. She opens with a Hydra, but I open with the Dawn. Hydropple gets switched out to Tinkaton, and I switch to Scarfy. Tinkaton's Mega Evolution now wielding what I think is a jackhammer, but even with modern machinery, she's no match for Scarfy. Up next is Dracozolt. I switch to Ares and Mega Evolve, boosting myself with no retreat before taking out Dracozolt. She then sent out Hydropple, and in my infinite wisdom, I decided to use First Impression for some ungodly reason, completely wasting my Mega Phalanx. I send Shuba back out and crit a close combat against Hydropple, and she sends out Grimmsnarl. I switch to Ruby, defeating Grimmsnarl with a cross poison. She then sends out Silvally, who I feel like could have been a threat if he wasn't just the normal type and didn't have any type infused into him, so he falls to a close combat. Her final Pokemon is Raging Bolt. I switch to the wonderful fairy Scarfy. With some rough playing, we defeat Calliope. She actually doesn't give us the badge, but after losing control of the 3 beasts, Raikou snags one off of her for us and hands it right to me, before Calliope and her admins escape. I head outside to see some of the gym leaders rounding up the last of Team Chimera, and they tell me they've made a new Elite Four, which we will challenge on the final day, which I really hope I lock in and get it out within a reasonable time frame. For this final day, we make our journey towards the Elite Four. I make my way through Pollen Road and the Davio Straits, eventually touching land at the ruins of Haiwa, where we have our final battle against Rania. She opens with the Floatzel, and I open with the Dawn, who I very quickly switch out for Scarfy after an Ice Fang. And Scarfy defeats Floatzel. She then sends out Typhlosion, and she falls to Shuba. Rania then sends out Vikavolt, and Scarfy comes back out to defeat Vikavolt with a Fire Fang. The next mon is that Craniados we save now a Rampardos, and while it is nice to see her doing well, she is no match for Ruby. Her final Pokemon is that Mega Victory Bell, who falls to the Dawn, getting us the victory. With Rania's defeat, we go and challenge the first member of the Elite Four, Polymnia. She opens with her Jumpluff, and I open with the Dawn. Jumpluff falls to the Dawn, and her next Pokemon is a Abomasnow. I switch to Scarfy and take it out with a Fire Fang. Her Serena also gets burned away by Scarfy, and next up is Delmise. I send out Ruby, and Delmise flips her into the Crustle. I keep Ruby in, which was clearly a mistake as Crustle takes out Ruby. Shuba defeats Crustle, Delmise returns, and I switch to Putty, take it out with a Beam Attack. Her final Pokemon is Mega Robomi. I switch to Scarfy, and it was at this moment while writing the script that I realized I actually never had the Mawile Eye, even though at this point in the game, definitely had the money for it. Anyway, Scarfy takes out Rabombi and we get the win against Polymnia. The second member was Terpsichore, and I like Terpsichore. She seems like she'd be fun to vibe with, but I completely swept her team with the Dawn. And after the Dawn sweep, we challenged the third member, Euterpe. She opens with a Tentacruel and I lead with Putty, take out Tentacruel with a Thunderbolt. Arbok paralyzed Shuba before getting taken out, and I kept Shuba in, banking on the idea that they would break through the paralysis, and they did not, and fall to Clodsire. The Dawn then comes out, crits a Night Slash, and Caracosta falls to Ruby's Leaf Blade. Gliscor falls to Scarfy, and her final Pokemon, Mega Gyarados, takes out Putty, and the Dawn returns to get us our third win. The fourth member is Radine. She opens with a Bylea Oricorio that makes quick work of Scarfy. I send out Shuba to defeat the Oricorio, and she sends out Togekiss, and I send out Ruby. Which I will admit, not my smartest decision, as it becomes clear very quickly that this was not the play. I swap her out for Putty and hit the Togekiss with the Thunderbolt. Her Toucan also falls to Putty, and Seer falls to Shuba. Her surprisingly bulky Chatot eventually goes down to Putty, but god, it'd take way longer than I thought it would. And her final Pokemon is the Mega Mandibuzz. It's a pretty tough mon, surprisingly bulky, and it has the ability Scavenger, so it heals a little every turn like it had leftovers. It was definitely one of the more difficult fights, but we do eventually get the victory. And all that's left is the champion, a trainer who was the reason for the old league disbanding and was journeying far away while Ilios was going through a crisis, the champion of the Ilios region, Anyalios. He opened up with Ceruledge that quickly falls to Shuba, and his Scrafty goes down to the Dawn. His Gliscor falls to Scarfy, and he then sends out Aegislash, taking out Scarfy, and the Dawn returns to defeat the Aegislash. Muck is up next, and he defeats Putty, and I send out Shuba to defeat Muck, leaving just Silazar, who Mega Evolves into his Koraidon form. Before the Dawn, two shots him with a dual Wing Beat, making us the champion. And normally that's where these stories end, but I knew I had one more thing I had to do before we could fully finish, and that was report back to Nemo with all 4 Oricorio forms, and with the true final goal completed, we can finish the Pokemon Lazarus playthrough. Hey, thank you all so much for watching this Lazarus series. Lazarus has easily become one of my favorite Pokemon ROM hacks, so if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. It's genuinely amazing. Next on the docket, Too Many Types 2. It just dropped as I'm recording this, so that's what I'm planning on doing next. Hope you're all excited, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!